Your host. We are live and recording.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Douglas County Board of County Commissioners Land Use Meeting and Public Hearing on Tuesday, March 9th, 2021, and it is 4:29 p.m. Would you all please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Ingalls, do we have all items on today's agenda certified?
Yes, Madam Chair. All items were properly noticed for today's meeting. Items 2A, B, and 3A and B, none of which required specialized notice, but they were properly noticed under the open meeting laws for today. Item 4A, the Canyons South Development Agreement, did require posted notice and published notice. That was accomplished on February 22nd and February 11th, respectively. With that, you have proper notice and jurisdiction on all items on the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Ingalls. Do any commissioners have any items for disclosure?
I have none, Madam Chair. Thank you.
No disclosures.
And I have none either. We're going to change the order of the meeting a little bit today. We are going to move the land use item B, Bald Mountain Estates, to first because it was not, I'm echoing, it wasn't properly posted. The information about it did not seem to appear online, and by the time we realized it, we didn't have time to fix it with the 24 hours notice. So I will accept a motion for a continuance.
So moved.
Second.
Why don't you
Actually, well, let me go ahead, Madam Chair, if it pleases the board. I make a motion to continue Bald Mountain Estates First Amendment with no additional conditions as presented to March 23rd at 2:30 p.m.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So that motion passes, and that item will be continued until March 23rd. The first item we will hear today under the land use meeting agenda is item A and B, which will be heard together. They're the same item, which is Sterling Ranch filing 3B. Brett Thomas for staff.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Brett Thomas representing Plan Services. If it's okay with the board, I am going to go through an abbreviated presentation.
We would very much appreciate that, Mr. Thomas. Thank you.
Project before you, Sterling Ranch Filing 3B, First Amendment, project number SB 2020-027. Eric Barney with Sterling Ranch is the project representative on behalf of the owner, Sterling Ranch LLC. Debbie Kula with engineering is present for the Subdivision Improvements Agreement, Intergovernmental Agreement for 3B First Amendment. The request is approval of a replat consisting of 108 residential lots, 16 tracts, and associated public roads and private drives on 10.57 acres within the Sterling Ranch PD. 108 residential lots will be single-family attached residences. The site is located east of Filing 3A, approximately 1,300 feet east of the intersection of Waterton Road and North Rampart Range Road. These are the approval standards, which is discussed in the staff report. There are 5 conditions of approval. Would you like me to read those into the record?
Please. I think that would be good.
Condition number 1, prior to the board's action on the replat, the Subdivision Improvements Agreement, Intergovernmental Agreement for Filing 3B, First Amendment, shall be approved by the board. Condition number 2, prior to approval of the site improvement plan, the applicant shall provide payment in the amount of $750 per multifamily dwelling unit to the Douglas County School District for capital mitigation. Condition number 3, prior to approval of the site improvement plan, the applicant shall provide payment to Douglas County for the pro rata share costs towards improvements to the state highway system in accordance with commitments set forth in Sterling Ranch PD. Condition number 4, prior to recordation of the replat, the private telecommunication easements shall be recorded and reception numbers noted on the plat exhibit. Condition number 5, prior to recordation of the replat, technical corrections to the plat exhibit shall be made to the satisfaction of Douglas County. And I did misspeak, there's actually 6 conditions. Condition number 6, all commitments and promises made by the applicant or the applicant's representative during the public meeting and/or agreed to in writing and included in the public record have been relied upon by the Board of County Commissioners in approving the application. Therefore, such approval is conditioned upon the applicant's full satisfaction of all such commitments and promises. Okay. And then there are 2 motions necessary from the board. The first motion would be made for the SIA-IGA, followed by a second motion on the replat. And this concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Any questions for staff?
I'll reserve my questions for the applicant's presentation. Thank you.
Likewise.
Same here. Sterling Ranch, would you like to come forward? And if you would like to speed it up, that would be fine too.
Great, thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Eric Barney, B-A-R-N-E-Y, 8155 Piney River Avenue, Suite 200, Littleton, Colorado, 80125. I will go through this. This is very familiar to Commissioner Thomas and Commissioner Layden, Commissioner Teal. This might be new, but I will do abbreviated. If you'd like to start the slides, Brett. While he's getting that, this is the first time I've had the pleasure of coming in front of the board, and I'd like to personally thank the staff for all their hard work for Sterling Ranch. And in particular, I'd like to give a shout out to Deborah Kula with engineering. She has been fantastic, and her dedication to not only this project, but all of Sterling Ranch has been fantastic.
And it's Eric, right?
Yes, Eric.
Well, Eric, thank you for presenting to us today. You sat here for a long time, so you see how our process works, and we want to make sure that you provide us everything you think we need to know to make a
Absolutely.
good decision. So
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you. Now I can hold up the slides.
Having played around with PowerPoint many, many times in my many years in business, sometimes I still kind of wonder if we're not better with the little
Yeah, that's right.
words on an easel,
Yep.
for presentations.
Yep.
Here comes Adele. Adele can get it fixed quickly, whatever it is.
Two through five? All right. All right, well, go there.
We asked for abbreviated.
There you go, you're going to get the abbreviated.
We do this to everyone who appears before us for the first
Yeah,
time,
there
so
you
just
go.
so you
I was
know.
wondering. Brett did a fantastic job. He stated, all these are in compliance with Article 7 of the Douglas County Subdivision Resolution, and also conforms with the Sterling Ranch PD and the comprehensive 2020, or 40, excuse me, comp. Again, let me bring these up. Let me get caught up here. I apologize. Again, this is showing the parks and open space around it. Waterton Road is the main gray road that is cutting through the site. Rampart is north-south on the left side. We do have Willow Creek that bounds it on the east. There are multi-functional trail on the north side, which goes into a regional trail coming through the property, and also public trails within the site. There's also a rec center that is in 3A. Next slide. Again, as I just stated, the regional trail at the north, we've got Willow Creek on the right, local trails within the subdivision, and there's a pocket park up at the top. Next slide. Maybe. All right. My next slide was just an overall picture of Sterling Ranch, which shows Waterton Road going all the way from Rampart to Moore Road. I think, as everybody is aware, we're in partnership with Douglas County on Waterton Road. We're excited to get that project going also. And that pretty much wraps up my presentation. Again, per Article 7, Section 704, approval standards, we meet all those standards. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions?
Well, that was actually incredibly straightforward, so apologies for the technical difficulties, but the presentation was great. I have no questions.
Yeah, my concern with these things is always when they're a change. But if I recall properly, this is in accordance with the PD.
That's correct.
Originally agreed upon, and this is merely the platting.
It is a replat, yes.
Replat as previously agreed upon, so that we can start actually doing a design and planning how those 108
That's correct.
units
Yep.
actually go in.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep. And there will be a SIP subdivision improvement coming soon,
Okay,
which will detail that more.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my only real question, Madam Chair.
Yep.
So this really is more of a comment that this is a 10.57 acre parcel that is going to have, I think, 3.7 acres dedicated to open space. So there will be 108 lots on about 7 acres. Is that right?
Yeah, sounds
But
right.
that works because they're alley-loaded concept attached
That's
residences.
correct. That's correct.
And so the main road will be owned by the county, but the little driveways that go into between the units, those will be owned and maintained by the cab.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm sure there is a market for this product. Otherwise, you wouldn't be bringing it in front of us.
That is correct.
So thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Thank you.
I will open this up for citizen comment. Is there anyone who would like to address the board on either A or B on the land use for today's agenda? Seeing no one come forward, Troy, is there anyone online?
I have no hands raised.
Thank you. I will bring it back to the board then for a discussion and then a motion. Any discussion?
You know, I guess and this was pretty clarified in the packet, but I'm just wondering about your thoughts around the Chatfield HOA comments regarding traffic. I think they're fairly well answered, but I was just wondering if you all had any additional input or thoughts around that.
I did not. I thought that they were well answered.
Yeah, I didn't have any questions. My only real, again, my question was, my experience hasn't given me a lot of experience with master plan communities. We know that's what this is, what Sterling Ranch is. So I just had some detailed questions in a prior briefing for staff that were answered perfectly, and I appreciate the applicant answering the boilerplate question that I wanted to make sure I had asked.
Well, that's helpful, and I know that traffic and engineering from the county perspective looked at this, and certainly their response is that it's not at a level that would trigger mitigation. So if there is not additional discussion, I'll make a motion to approve a subdivision improvements agreement and intergovernmental agreement for Sterling Ranch filing number 3B, First Amendment, project file number DV 2020-172.
Second.
Have a first and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries.
I'll go ahead and make a motion, Madam Chair, to approve Sterling Ranch filing number 3B, First Amendment, I had 6 conditions as presented. Project file SB 2020-027.
Second?
Have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, both of those motions carry. Nice job for your first time here. Thank you. Thank you. We'll move on to item number 3A, land use meeting agenda items. This is Trails Final Plat and Open Space Agreement. Heather Scott for staff. Can you, are you turned on? Is your mic turned on?
Is that better?
It is. Thank you, Heather.
Not sharing. Share. I'll start this again. Heather Scott for staff. This is the Trails Final Plat and Open Space Agreement, project number SB 2020-042. The final plat approval is for 139 residential lots, 12 tracts, 2.5 miles of regional trails and open space, and associated public roadways. The site is located in the northeast corner of the county along Sampson Gulch Way and Piney Lake Road. This is an aerial of a closer up view of the site. The final plat approval standards are set before you. The proposed conditions include 8 conditions. The first is concurrent with recordation of the final plat that the approval standards for the concurrent with the recordation of the final plat, the open space agreement between the Trails LLC, Trails Metropolitan District, and Douglas County shall be executed and recorded. Prior to recordation of the final plat, all water and sewer easements required by the City of Aurora and depicted on the final plat shall be recorded by separate instrument. Condition number 3, prior to issuance of each individual residential building permit for all lots within the final plat, evidence shall be provided to the county that the cash in lieu of school and land dedication fees of $1,157.35 per lot and the school capital mitigation fee of $2,837 per lot has been paid to the Douglas County School District. Condition 4, prior to recordation of the final plat, the applicant will provide sufficient evidence that the existing well permit, permit number 65766, has been plugged and abandoned. Condition 5, Colorado Parks and Wildlife literature shall be made available to both prospective homeowners and home buyers regarding the existence of wildlife in the area and how to minimize conflicts. Condition number 6, during construction activity within the development, the applicant, its successors, and assigns shall take all reasonable care to watch for historic resources, paleontological resources, and other cultural history resources, and shall immediately notify the Douglas County and complete appropriate Colorado Office of Archaeological and Historic Preservation data management forms in the event of such a discovery. Condition 7, prior to recordation of the final plat, technical corrections to the plat exhibit shall be made to the satisfaction of Douglas County. And Condition 8, all commitments and promises made by the applicant or the applicant's representative during the public meeting and/or agreed to in writing and included in the public record have been relied upon by the Board of County Commissioners in approving this application. Therefore, such approval is conditioned upon the applicant's full satisfaction of all commitments and promises. There are 2 parts to this application. The second one is the open space agreement. And so they have 2 conditions for the open space agreement, which are the last 2 conditions previously read, that 1, prior to recordation of the open space agreement, technical corrections to the agreement shall be made to the satisfaction of Douglas County, and 2, all commitments and promises made by the applicant or the applicant's representative during the public meeting and/or agreed to in writing and included in the public record have been relied upon by the Board of County Commissioners in approving this application. Therefore, such approval is conditioned upon the applicant's full satisfaction of all such commitments and promises. This concludes staff's presentation. The applicant is here, Tom Clark representing as the property owner, and Robert Fitch with Rick Engineering Company.
Thank you, Heather. Any questions for staff?
Thank you, Heather. I have no questions, and we'll reserve those comments for the applicant's presentation.
I do. I apologize, Madam Chair. I don't mean to lengthen the meeting, but I mean, I've got, a lot of mine is procedural. I have to confess, I've had a difficult time sometimes tracking the conditions that we have on different projects that come before us. And when I look at the staff report, I'm having a hard time finding those conditions actually detailed. So actually, I guess I don't have a question as much as a request for development staff is, for these staff reports, if we could have the conditions kind of detailed out, because I always feel like I'm having to track them on the fly in the meetings. And actually, my real question is for condition 2, where we talk about finalizing the agreement with Aurora Water for this, can I, okay, so recorded by a separate instrument. And so in order for us, this to actually proceed, even if we were to go ahead and agree to approve this today, it's not final until we're actually seeing the water and sewer easements required by the city of Aurora to be actually depicted on the final plat on a separate instrument that we don't necessarily have here in the packet. Is that correct?
To explain a little bit, they actually are depicted on the plat, and we have received the form of those easements, and engineering staff and legal staff have reviewed those and are satisfied. So it's just a matter of getting them recorded before we record the final plat. So we feel confident that everyone's in an agreement. It's just that they aren't, Aurora does not sign our plats. They accept those easements by kind of a separate recorded instrument. So that's pretty typical for our process for how we do that. But in the future, we'll make sure in our staff reports that maybe we explain that a little bit in greater detail when we're citing those conditions for you.
Yeah, I mean, again, apologies, guys, but very used to my experience in the town of Castle Rock. Well, you know, we had our own water department there to kind of hold the gun to their head and make sure that we delivered the whole package together.
Right.
This is the different part of the new job for me, so thank you. If that could be accommodated by staff, that would be very helpful for me in the future.
We'll try to do that. Thank you.
And the content of condition number, proposed condition number 2 was the nature of my question, so thank you, Madam Chair.
So Heather, have you presented to us before?
I've presented once in November.
Oh, I didn't remember that, but you did a really good job. So I just wanted to let you know we're kind of rushed tonight. So I appreciate you doing what you did for us today. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
So if there's no other questions, I'm going to open it up for citizen comment. Any citizens in the room who would like to talk about this item? Seeing no one come forward, Troy, is there anyone online?
I have no outside attendees.
Thank you. I will close citizen comment and bring it back to the board.
Madam Chair, for the benefit of the hearing and the benefit of the board, and to acknowledge Commissioner Teal's very fair inquiry with all of his many years of experience down the road, just wanted to acknowledge the hard work of staff and the dedication you put into presenting these packets. I know for the listening audience, they may not be aware that we review literally hundreds of pages as we prepare for these particular meetings. But fortunately, the conditions are laid out at the beginning of Heather's memo. And then all of the conditions for legal approval are also included in the staff memorandum. But well taken, and appreciate staff maybe providing some additional detail on those conditions.
Yeah, probably just a tweak I need more than a tweak you guys need to just help me out. I just have difficulty tracking them sometimes when we get to the meeting, so we'll take care of that offline, I'm sure.
And I have no further comments.
I have no additional comments, Madam Chair.
Again, I think this is a great project. We're talking about 290 acres, and the agreement will protect 215 of the acres so that there will be 139 homes put on this property, and there's going to be over 6 miles of trails. I guess that's why it's called trails. So I think this is really one of those projects, I think it took a lot of work, but it's in a good place. And would the applicants like to say anything?
Hello, Commissioners. My name is, let me take this off. My name is Tom Clark. I'm with Ventana Capital. Thank you for hearing us today. I'm here with Rob Fitch, and we do have a presentation, but given the time, I will skip that because it sounds like, unless you would like to hear it, it sounds like you know quite a bit about this project. I would like to thank staff, especially Debbie Kula and Jeanette Bear and Heather. They were tough, but good to work with. So you have a good staff on your hands. We appreciate that. In a nutshell, the project mimics our not mimics. It adheres to all the conditions that the PD strove to achieve. It has over 200 acres of open space, 139 houses clustered. We managed to work with the city of Aurora for the water and sewer service agreement, and the staff also had to work quite hard with Aurora staff. That was not easy, but we got that done. And we think it's a great project. And I guess we're here to answer any questions you have.
Questions?
I have no questions. Thank you for the wonderful application.
Yeah, no questions. I mean, I really appreciated the dedication of the open space to go along with the homes that guys are vested to develop. I think that dedication to open space is something that we need to see preserved.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. There are 8 conditions on the final plat. Do you agree to those 8?
Yes, we do.
And there are 2 conditions to the open space agreement. Do you agree to those?
We do as well.
Thank you. I have no other questions. Thank you. So I got the order out. I should have done citizen comment afterwards. Sorry, my brain's dead. I apologize. So if there's no other questions, is there a motion?
Certainly, Madam Chair, I will make a motion for approval of the trail's final plat with the 8 conditions as presented. Project file SB 2020-042.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the Trails Open Space Agreement with 2 conditions as presented. Project file SB 2020-042.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries. Congratulations and good luck with your project. The final hearing item for the day is Canyon South Development Agreement. Mike Pasica for staff.
Thank you, Commissioner. Can you hear me? Am I on? Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you, Commissioners. Mike Pasica with Planning and Development, and the application before you is the Canyon South Development Agreement, project number MI 2020-008. The specific request is to establish a vested right for 888 lots in the Canyon South Plan Development for a 20-year term, and the applicant is not proposing any additional proposed public benefit aside from the requirements in the Canyon South Plan Development. This map just highlights the location, and the red outline is the 888 lots that are that would be subject to the development agreement. And it's on east of Crowfoot Valley Road at the intersection of Crowfoot Valley and McCanta Boulevard. And the approval criteria are listed in section 3500 of the Douglas County zoning resolution and shown here on your screen. And that concludes my presentation. I can turn it, Allison Alteris is here to represent the applicant, or I can take questions if you have them at this time.
Let's see if anyone has questions for staff.
I have none at this time.
No questions.
And I have none. If the applicant would like to come forward. If you can give us your name, spell your last name and your address, please.
Certainly. My name is Allison Altaras. That's Altaras. I'm with Otten Johnson Robinson Neff and Raganetti. Business address 950 17th Street, Denver, Colorado 80202. We just wanted to say thank you to Mike and the rest of planning staff for their help with this application. I'm here with Richard Cross, who's Heinz construction manager, in the event that there are any particularly construction-related questions. I intend to give a very abbreviated presentation at Commissioner's request. I'm sure you're all ready to head home for the evening. Mostly just wanted to give you an update on the status of construction of the project and then to highlight the really exceptional benefits that the project offers to the county. So the project has now been branded as Macanta. The project is well underway. There have been, let's see, in addition to the Phase 1 improvements to Crowfoot Valley Road, the interior roadways, water and sewer infrastructure, those are complete, along with monument signage, landscaping, and model homes. We have several home builders who have already closed on lots and have options to purchase additional lots. In addition, the Crowfoot Valley Metropolitan District Number 1 has installed and financed some significant public improvements and has gone ahead and issued bonds. Heinz is proposing a 20-year vesting term on this agreement to provide certainty to itself, to the county, to the home builders, to the Metro District, and to the community that the project can and will be completed as approved. Mike, are you able to put up my one slide?
I think so.
Thank you.
Just one.
Just one. So we just wanted to take the opportunity to highlight the benefits of this project to the county, including the dedication of 450 acres for a regional park, $450,000 in park planning fees, dedication of right-of-way and substantial improvements to Crowfoot Valley Road, payments for other roadway improvements in the vicinity, 37 acres for school sites, 13 miles of trails, and then sort of encapsulate, really, I think the best benefit of this project is that including that regional park, there's preservation of over 800 acres of natural open space, which will ultimately result in about 62% of the land area being preserved as open space. So once again, approval of this agreement will help to ensure that the county realizes the numerous benefits that are offered by this project, and the contributions to the project as well. This is obviously a big project, and it has already kind of weathered multiple economic upswings and downswings, and so it's conceivable that it will need to endure multiple market cycles from here on out prior to being fully built out. In addition, vesting of the project approvals is desirable to both the county and the developer in light of what seem to be perpetually introduced anti-growth initiatives at the state level. So for those reasons, we would respectfully request that the commissioners approve this vesting development agreement, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Questions?
Ms. Altaras, thank you for the presentation. Certainly appreciate the iterations and the maneuvering that you've gone through with planning to advance this forward. Certainly, I don't have any additional questions for you today. It seems like a wonderful, wonderful project to advance.
Excited about it.
Yep.
Yeah, I might know some of the deep history on this one, considering how this project started out with a proposed annexation and down to Castle Rock, which of course didn't work out. But I'm familiar enough. I drive on Crowfoot Valley. I've seen the work that you guys have going. I've never been a big fan of stopping something in progress, so I have no additional questions at this time.
So the only question I had, which is one more of curiosity than anything else, as I was going through the packet, it says that you've already paid $119,858 towards a $193,500 commitment to improve Castle Pines Parkway, Daniels Park Road, and Monarch north of Castle Pines Parkway, or construction of a frontage road along I-25. Those all seem kind of far away from your project, so how did that deal happen?
Those were concessions that the developer made and, offered to provide that additional benefit to the county in exchange for the approvals that have been obtained so far. So we're just highlighting that as sort of an additional benefit to the county of this project above and beyond what the county would typically require.
Well, I was tired when I was reading this last night, and I even printed it off and highlighted it to make sure that I was in the right project. Kurt, are you raising your hand over there?
Just for some background, the The reason these are in there is originally Canyons included the part that's in Castle Pines. Right now, it was the Canyons, and in around 2000, there was a bifurcation, as it's kind of referred to, along Crowfoot Valley, Canyons North and Canyons South. Canyons, and they split up all the agreements, and they ended up with some of Canyons North's commitments in Canyons South. So that's why you're seeing Daniels Park and Monarch, they're paying the portion that they were responsible for in the south, if you will. So, and some of those are still on the books for Canyons North or the Canyons in Castle Pines Village. So you're just seeing remnants of an older, larger, bigger development that are still the responsibility of Canyons South.
Thank you. I remember that now that you mentioned that, so I apologize. I just thought, this is what it says, so thank you for your time on answering that question. I'm going to open it up for citizen comment, then if there's no other questions. Are there any citizens here who would like to address the board? Seeing no one come forward, Ms. Dunning, is there anyone online?
Thank you, Commissioner. I have no attendees.
Thank you, Troy. I will bring this back to the board then for discussion or a motion.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve Canyon South Development Agreement Project File MI 2020-008.
I'll second and wish to speak in favor of the motion.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, this, again, I know the deep history on this one. The break from Castle Rock and the continued development. And, listen, I actually had a hesitation about how I was going to go and decide on this, and definitely wanted to complete the public meeting before the public hearing, before deciding to support. But again, it's underway. It's a project that does look good. I understand the additional protection that the applicant is seeking. I definitely support it. Once a project is underway and there's none of this whole, will it be a land deal or will it be a deal where we have a new neighborhood? I'm definitely falling on the side of supporting this motion as read.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries. Congratulations and thank you. If there's no other business, I'm going to conclude today's meeting just before 5:10 in the afternoon. We did pretty good time, gentlemen. Thank you for everybody's cooperation. Chris?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Everybody, thank you. This concludes today's meeting.